Is the camera on? Yeah, it is. Hi, everyone. Can you hear us fine on Zoom?
Yes.
Thanks for being patient. All right, so thank you. We've got an audience in person in the iLabs and here on Zoom. So bear with us as we try to make eye contact with both audiences. All right, so welcome to the Scholarship Opportunities Program workshop with an emphasis on business and social entrepreneurship. So first off, thank you for being patient as we sorted out these technical difficulties. We ask that you please sign in with the QR code. If you're in person, it's on the little pamphlet. And then if you're on Zoom, Karina will display it really quick. All right, if you're on Zoom, it'll be at the end of the presentation, or you can go to our link tree in the bio of our Instagram. Okay, which is UCI Scholars, by the way. All right, so with intros, my name is Eileen Pham. I am a fourth-year education sciences major and the lead student advisor for SOP, and I'm joined here by my colleagues who will introduce themselves.
Hi, so my name is Karina. I'm a fourth-year language science major with a minor in psych, and I'm a student advisor here at SOP.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jessica. I'm a second-year student advisor at SOP, and I'm a double major in cognitive science and English.
Alrighty, so just to kind of give you a small breakdown of what we're going to do today, we're going to talk about what the SOP office is and who we are, talk about some key awards that pertain to business and social entrepreneurship, and then go over some case studies of past UCI students who have gone through our office and won these awards, and then finally how to get involved with SOP. Yeah, so here at UCI, we're surrounded by a lot of on-campus resources, and we just want to make an emphasis that we are not the financial aid office. So we don't look at your financial aid package, or we don't provide any like in-house aid, basically. So all of our scholarships are from external organizations. So someone else is going to give you the scholarship, not UCI. And how are we different? Outside of funding that we give to our scholars, one thing that we do provide is long-lasting connections and networks and incredible experiences to build your professional and academic career. So the roles and services of SOP is basically broken down to three different subtypes, which is outreach, advising, and recognition. So outreach would be something like we're doing right now, which is doing workshops to meet as many UCI students as possible. And advising would encompass like giving your draft feedback on your personal statement or your statement of grant purpose or other essays that are required for your application, and doing mock interviews, looking over your resume, things like that. And then also giving you access to past winning applications. So you can kind of see the profiles of people who win these types of scholarships. And the last thing would be recognition, which every year SOP holds a ceremony at the end of the school year to recognize all of our SOP scholars who have done really, really great work through our office. So here is kind of a scholarship summary breakdown of the 21 external nationally competitive merit awards that we advise for. Notice that the ones in green are for eligible for international students, and our scholarships are broken up into two different sections. Explorers 11, which happens through the fall and winter cycle quarters of the in the school year, and then Trailblazers 10, which is during the spring and summer. A lot of the Explorers 11, sorry, I'm blinking, awards are for research, some are for service and leadership, and a lot of our awards in Trailblazers 10 is for abroad. Oh, yeah. So another thing to note is the ones that are italicized means that they require campus endorsement. And just as a quick TLDR, campus endorsement is basically a stamp of approval that UCI gives their candidates when they're applying for really, really competitive and prestigious scholarships. It doesn't require an extra application or anything like that. It's just something that is required and that the SOP office will hold like an endorsement interview for you to be endorsed for these scholarships.
So if endorsement is required, it'll also be indicated on the flyer in person. If there's an asterisk, that means UCI endorsement is required, so you have to apply for the scholarship with SOP advising.
So the next slide that we have here is just kind of talking about why these scholarships matter. So winning prestigious scholarships gives you lifelong recognition and prestige. Some of these scholarships, past presidents have won, so they have a lot of status to them. And a lot of these scholarships open up new avenues for your future study. So you can make really, really awesome connections and networks with people who are in your field and can provide you really great opportunities just by knowing them. And going through this process can really help you clarify what you want to do with your academic and or professional career, and can prepare you for graduate school applications. So a lot of the components of these scholarships you can use for, or can inspire you for grad school applications. And lastly, these raise the value of UCI's reputation and the diploma that you get once you graduate. So I'm going to pass it off to Jessica to talk about some of the case studies.
Okay, so we are going to look at a couple case studies that are about the topic that you're all here to learn about. So first we'll talk about the Strauss. So the Strauss is great if you're looking to make a difference in your community now, like you have a plan of a year-long service project that you would design that could benefit the community. So like UCI, your local community, or even abroad. And just a little fun fact, the Arroyo Vista Garden was actually funded partly by Strauss nominees. So that could give you an idea of some projects that have been done in the past. And our competitive Strauss candidates usually have at least a year of leadership experience and a very well-conceived idea of what they want their project to be. So as you can see, they're giving you $15,000 to fund this project. So you have to have a very clear idea of what you want to do. But it doesn't really matter what discipline you come from. So we encourage all majors, people who want different career paths, etc. As long as you have a project, you can pick from a variety of topics. And then you also have to be a sophomore or junior. So basically 1 to 2 years of your undergrad study remaining. You could apply as a senior only if you're taking a 5th year. And this one is open to international students as well.
And as far as the award grant, the $15,000 is split in half. You receive half of it for your project that you execute in the community, and then the other half goes to your own educational expenses.
And if you want a list of all the proposals that the Strauss has funded before, you can see that on their website as well. So a little case study of someone who won the Strauss. We have Karishma. So she studied cognitive science, me too, here at UCI. So she founded the Patient Project, and she launched a journal of student reflections. She also was one of the 5 Dalai Lama Fellows from North America. She was a Barnes & Noble College Scholar and a recipient of the Strauss for public service. She was a peer tutor in chemistry, an ambassador at the Center for Neurobiology, Learning and Memory, and also founded a nonprofit for neuroscience education. And she aspired to combine her interests in health and public service towards a meaningful career in healthcare, and the Strauss helped her do that with her project. So next we have the Truman. So the Truman is $30,000 for US citizens planning to go into government or nonprofit work in a leadership role. So the Truman will fund your grad study or law school, but it is only available for juniors, so your 3rd year at UCI. Our winners and finalists have strong academic records, clear goals for grad school, and have been substantially involved in public service or government activities. Some examples include holding like an office at ASUCI, founding a nonprofit or a club, teaching, mentoring, serving on a political campaign, organizing a union, or like national leadership roles in community service. You can also, we usually like you to have an issue or policy specifically that you're passionate about, because you'd be writing a policy proposal. And we've had students write about things like healthcare access, wage gaps, and the cycle of poverty. For Truman, we do have a limited number of candidates that we can nominate, as Karina and Aline talked about the nomination by UCI. So then SOP has to oversee the process of you getting nominated by the campus. So for this one, you do have to go through our office in order to apply.
Do you want to go over the years worth for SOPs? Like juniors and like what it means to be a junior.
Oh, yes. So when we say junior or senior, what we mean is we base all of our years on the number of years you have until you graduate. So if you're a junior, that means you have 1 year left and then you would graduate, or if you're a senior, that means you're graduating this year. So just a way to think about that.
So keep that in mind if you're graduating early or taking a 5th year. Basically, a junior is someone in their second to last year at UCI. And then again, all of our awards are open to sophomores, juniors, seniors, and recent alumni within 1 year of graduation from UCI. So if you're a first year here, you're ahead of the game. You're planning for what scholarships you want to apply to potentially next year.
And then we have a little case study for you here of a Truman scholar. So this is Daniela. She was a first-gen student who transferred to UCI as a sophomore. And she was, struggling with her work schedule and paying her own way through college. And then she joined the SAGE Scholars and pursued legal internships at law firms at the Orange County District Attorney's Office. And she was developing her leadership skills by working with ASUCI. So she established a legal clinic and then was teaching Santa Ana high school students. Her goal was to become a public defender and make our criminal justice system more equitable. And this was a perfect fit with the mission of the Truman. So she won the Truman as a junior to fund her journey to law school. And like a lot of Truman scholars, she did decide to defer grad school entry to get more work and leadership experience before she went. And then after she graduated, Daniela taught English in Columbia through the Fulbright, which is another scholarship that our office offers. And she also worked as a judicial fellow in a superior court and worked with the California Capital Fellows Program. So she has quite a lot of involvements here. And then today she is currently at UC Berkeley's law school.
So Daniela is an example of someone who won a lot of awards, which is rare, but we chose to showcase her because she demonstrates a lot of the leadership and academic background that these awards are looking for. However, do note that you don't have to apply for 3 awards in one cycle. You can apply for 1 award one cycle, another one the next cycle. You can even reapply to an award that you didn't win the first time. And sometimes being a reapplicant actually makes your next application even stronger and your chances higher. So freshmen and sophomores here, you're at an advantage because you're getting a head start. All right, so our next award featured is our most popular and flexible one, being the Fulbright U.S. Student Program. So this is open to U.S. citizens who are wishing to go abroad for 1 year to another country, either to do a study/research grant or an English teaching assistantship or a binational business internship in Mexico particularly. So there are 140 countries that you could choose from. This would be a year-long grant and it's fully funded. So under the study/research grant, you would be either conducting independent research, like your own research project that will be funded, or you could actually earn a master's degree or a higher education degree that will be funded through the Fulbright program. So like you're going to another graduate program in another country. And as far as what Fulbright's looking for, they are seeking candidates who have, of course, strong academic and leadership experiences, but also a particular interest and skill set for ambassadorial potential. So someone who has a passion for international exchange, a lot of international studies and political sciences majors apply for this program. And it's a very great experience because the award grant itself is fulfilling, but also if you're looking to apply to a graduate program in the future, including law or medical school, a Fulbright grant prior to that would look very good on your resume because you can speak to your ability to work with and give back to communities that are unlike our own here in the US. So if you are interested in Fulbright, we suggest you have at least 1 year of relevant experience for the award that you pursue. So if you're interested in an English teaching assistantship, you should probably have at least 1 year of experience in a classroom, working with children or tutoring English. Likewise, if you're interested in getting a master's degree, then you should probably have some research experience under your belt. Note that for the study/research grant, it's not just academic research. You could also do a creative arts project. So like one of our students did the National Geographic grant to India, where she worked on a photography project to explore and report on sustainability and fast fashion in India. All right, so countries that only require you to speak English, like the UK, Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, and Canada, are more competitive because more students are interested in them. With that said, you can look up Fulbright statistics on Google to see your chances of getting a particular country and award for Fulbright. So if you're interested in Fulbright, but you're not sure where to start, like where you'd want to go or what you want to study, that could play into your decision as to which one to choose. Okay. And then how Fulbright works is it falls under our Trailblazers 10 cycle, which is coming up this spring. So you would apply during the spring of your junior, senior, or alumni year. However, once you apply, you work on the application for a few months, and then you would take, it would be a full year before you go on to the grant. So basically, if you're interested in going to Fulbright, immediately upon graduation from UCI, you would have to apply your second to last year here during the spring of your junior year. So if you apply during the spring of your senior year, that would just mean that you graduate from UCI, you take a gap year, do whatever you want, and then you go on to Fulbright. And then if you apply during the spring of your first alumni year, it just pushes it back a year later. So 2 gap years before Fulbright. All right, so if you have any questions, just type it in the chat or ask us here. Okay, so moving on to a few students who have won the Fulbright. Okay, first we have Stella, who majored in international studies, and she was part of the campus-wide honors collegium here at UCI. Her passion was in public policy, technology, and sustainability, which she did her research on through CHC. And she had a strong interest in business and economics, so that this led her to participate in many startup competitions. But she also cared about making an impact for social good, which of course strengthened her Fulbright application. And you can see at the bottom there, she was also a semifinalist for another award that we advise for, which is the Schwarzman Scholars. That one is for a global affairs master's program at Tsinghua University in China, and we'll go over that in a bit. But more on Stella. She founded several volunteer programs with a focus on international aid and refugees, along with her honors thesis research, and even publishing a book with a faculty member. Her impressive achievements caught the attention of Phi Beta Kappa Honor Society, or PBK, which we'll also go over at the end of this presentation. And ultimately, she did a Fulbright grant in urban policy and sustainable design in Singapore, where she brought together 5 collaborators to research local food production and inform urban design and policy. And then, like I said, she was also a semifinalist for Schwarzman. So I'm guessing that her Fulbright grant made her a stronger applicant for Schwarzman master's program. And her ultimate goal is to pursue graduate education in business and economics. So she's currently a product manager at IBM Watson Internet of Things. So moving on to some other graduate awards you could pursue. These are all scholarships that will fund graduate study abroad. So they're kind of like Fulbright, except you can't do independent research or English teaching assistantship. You'd be getting a master's or PhD. So let's see, the first 3 are in the UK. Mitchell is in Ireland, and Schwarzman, which I briefly mentioned earlier, is in China. These scholarships are among the most prestigious and competitive graduate ones in the world. And the oldest prestigious international scholarship, the Rhodes, supports study at Oxford. Gates Cambridge, the second one, of course, supports study at Cambridge. And then the Marshall will actually fund graduate study in any in any graduate program in the UK. All right, so all of these scholarships demand academic excellence in significant experiences for leadership, research, business, or public service. And most recipients planned extremely ambitious careers in public service or academia. So even former heads of state, such as US presidents and prime ministers, as Karina mentioned earlier, have won some of these awards, like the Rhodes. Good news, the Rhodes is the most prestigious award that we advise for. So that's as high as it gets, and they require 5 to 8 letters of recommendation, but that's only for the Rhodes. Just letting you guys know in case you are interested. Most of our scholarships, if not all of them, require 3 letters of recommendation. And the types of letters depend on the award. It could be some academic professors, some faculty members, or leadership mentors in other areas of your life. All right. If you're an international student, the ones on this slide that are open to you are Gates, Cambridge, and Rhodes. So the first 2. Okay, so for our case study, we have Malak. She's a recent graduate who majored in public health policy and international studies. She ultimately won the Marshall Scholarship, which is for the UK. And so she chose to study health and international development through the master's program at the London School of Economics. But during her time as an undergraduate at UCI, she participated in the Public Health Honors Program and, like our previous case study, was elected to the PBK Honor Society. And then after graduating, Malak served as a Bill Emerson National Hunger Fellow in Seattle and Washington, D.C. And all of these experiences were led up to with her undergraduate experience, primarily as a CalFresh coordinator at the UCI Fresh Basic Needs Hub, where she helped establish a team of student advocates that build partnerships across the UCI campus. So as a Marshall Scholar in London, Malak will be pursuing her passion for public health, nutrition policy, and chronic disease prevention in the master's program. Finally, for our Graduate Abroad Awards, we have Schwarzman, which is for a Global Affairs Master's Program in Tsinghua University in China. The Schwarzman is open to juniors, seniors, and recent graduates. It's for a 1-year master's program that ultimately cultivates the next generation of international leaders through fostering a better understanding for China's role in global trends. So as a master's student, you would complete corporate or nonprofit internships for real world leadership experiences. But all courses are taught in English, and they are flexible on whether you do a case study or a particular research thesis. For Schwarzman, they select up to 200 students each year from all around the world, specifically 20% from China, 40% from the US, and 40% from the rest of the world. And then one thing to note for Schwarzman is the pre-application deadline is earlier than our general Trailblazers 10 application, which is due April 10th. For Schwarzman, if you hold a passport or a permanent resident card from China, Taiwan, Hong Kong, or Macau, please submit your pre-application on March 11th instead. And then our case study for Schwarzman is Cassie. She was our first international student to become a finalist for this award as an international student. And she was invited to interview for the Schwarzman Scholars Program at their campus in Beijing. So Cassie was ultimately an alternate for Schwarzman, which means that if funding became more available, then she would receive the grant. And we chose to highlight her not only because she was the first one to become a finalist as an international student, but also because we want to acknowledge that sometimes you don't receive recipient status. Sometimes you receive semi-finalists or alternate status for one of these awards. And that's still something to be proud of, because not only will you have reaped the benefits of going through the whole application process and getting so much good feedback on all your written materials, but it's still a title that you can put on your resume that will increase your chances of earning jobs, internships, and future scholarships down the road. Oh, and grad school, of course. Okay, so as a UCI student, she was a double major and a peer academic advisor in the School of Social Sciences, where she worked where she also worked as an intern for the International Center. So she helped to create the International Leadership Program and the International DOTS Program. And she also studied abroad in Hong Kong, doing research on China's one-child policy. So all of these experiences really made sense for her to apply to Schwarzman. And that's what we're encouraging you all to do, is apply for a scholarship that fits your past achievements and involvements. Okay, so that concludes our section on graduate scholarships abroad. Now moving on to graduate scholarships in the United States, we have 3 of them featured: Knight Hennessy, Soros, and the NSF. Knight Hennessy is specifically for Stanford University, so it will fund graduate study for any program at Stanford. If you're interested in studying at Stanford, you would apply to Stanford while applying to the Knight Hennessy scholarship. And if you get both of them, then you're going to Stanford for free. For Knight Hennessy, it is open to everyone in the United States, which makes it everyone in the world, which makes it a little bit more competitive than our other scholarships. But that's also because it's a relatively newer award, so there's not as many cohorts. But something you could do on your free time is going on to these scholarship websites and looking at past recipients. So there might be a section called Meet the Scholars or Meet the Fellows, and that's where you can read all of the bios and information on past recipients, as well as like view a little photo of them that shows where they're currently studying. All right. So Soros is similar. It will cover graduate study, but for anywhere within the United States. And you must be a US citizen or permanent resident or hold a green card in order to apply for this. But one other requirement is that it's the New American Scholarship, which means both of your parents have to have been born outside of the United States as non-US citizens. And this one, they're also looking for people with long history of leadership experiences, as well as a desire to enact, significant change and impact in the world. Finally, the National Science Foundation, or NSF, Graduate Research Fellowship is for STEM students who want to do graduate school in STEM, but not for clinical research. So do note that if your ultimate goal is medical school or an MD or an MD PhD, then we do not recommend the NSF for you. Okay. Okay, so more on NSF is that you can also be working in STEM education, social sciences, and psychology, and they'll provide $46,000 for tuition and fees for up to 3 years, in addition to a living stipend and a research-related travel or internship allowance. And all of these fall under our Trailblazers 10 cycle, aka spring, so that pre-application will be due April 10th at noon, and we'll go over how to do a pre-app in a later slide.
Okay, so as Elaine just mentioned, we've told you about all these scholarships, and you might have a few that you're thinking about applying to. So we'll tell you how to apply. So generally our scholarship application process takes 2 to 6 months. So you would start for the Trailblazers 10, for example, you'd start in the spring and you'd submit your application somewhere in the fall. So it does take a while of, getting these materials ready, getting feedback from our office, etc. And then you can also reuse components of your scholarship applications in, say, your grad school application. Since you will have already written a lot about yourself, you can reuse materials that you've already written. And as Aline mentioned already, if you win any of these scholarships or become a semifinalist or finalist, that also helps you, improve your resume for getting into a graduate school of your choice. Our applications usually require around 3 letters of recommendation, except in the case of the Rhodes, it's 5 to 8. But it's good for you to have faculty in mind that know you well, so they can write you a strong and detailed letter, so that they will actually have specific things to say about how wonderful of a student you are. And then we would also recommend that you get a letter from someone who could have supervised you in public service or in a work setting or any other leadership positions that you might have held. It doesn't have to be just professors. So we've shown you what some opportunities might be. We've given you some examples of students who've won before, and we can tell you what you can do right now to get started with our process. So a lot of students ask us, they come to our office and they want a checklist of things they could do to become a winner, but we don't really have a list of like prerequisites that you need to complete. It's really you being an individual applicant and doing things that you're passionate about. So a lot of our winners have like just pursued their passions, like they've taken classes and followed extracurriculars that are things that they are interested in, and that way they have something to reflect on and discuss in their applications. A lot of our winners also initiate action, so they're picking like strategic places on campus in their community that they can change things, and they're seeing their failures as opportunities for growth and becoming more flexible, not as something to, get you down. And then in working with our office, so our advisors and our writing specialists, you also get to learn how to talk about your ambitions and what you want to do, so you can create a narrative of who you are and what you see in your future. So we also recommend that you use all of your campus resources, which there are quite a few of here. So all of the case studies that we've shown you, they're students just like you. They're, attending our workshops, they're taking our tips on how to become a strong candidate. So we're here to help you do the exact same thing. So all of our awards have different characteristics that they might hold as more important. So some of our awards, emphasize community service, or they want you to have like international goals. But if you, can check off a lot of these criteria that we've talked about, you would be in good shape for the award that you're looking for. The struggles that a lot of students face tend to be like not knowing professors well enough to, get a letter from them, or not having a lot of leadership experiences or community service. But honestly, applicants can look different depending on what your goals are, what your interests are. You can, perform research, pursue an internship, or volunteer. All those things make you a better candidate, especially if you have someone you think would be a good mentor. So like professors, staff, people like that who can guide you towards, being able to accomplish any of these things. And then we also, we love you guys to be leaders. So we love if you demonstrate leadership and you're focusing on things that you personally are interested in and passionate about, and you have a personal style that you can bring to your applications. That way you're like an individual and unique candidate. We also have here as our last point that you can join reputable honor societies like Phi Beta Kappa, which Aline mentioned. It's the most prestigious academic honor society in the US, and we will talk a little bit about that in the next couple slides.
One other thing is a lot of students don't know that their department or schools, such as School of ICS, they each have an honors program housed within the department. So even if you're not in campus-wide honors, you can still do like an honors research thesis through your school if they offer that, which will definitely boost your competitiveness for any of these awards.
So here's just another campus resource that we would recommend is the Entrepreneur Center. So here you can, gain the skills you need to start, keep going, or grow a business that you have started or are involved with. So they have a lot of resources and programs that can help you with your entrepreneurship journey. And we have their walk-in office hours on the slide as well if you want to stop in by their office. So why are we recommending all these things to you to be a good candidate? So this little map is about our application process of the personal discovery of working with our office. So we know that applications typically have like your resume, a personal statement, and a project or a research proposal, as well as your various letters of recommendation. And a lot of them that require endorsement, you have to interview. So it's good to have some interview experience as well. And then being a competitive applicant is a little bit less scary if you think about, you can start doing any of these things now. Like you could take steps towards getting that scholarship that you're interested in today, tomorrow. Like you can take any of these tips from our slides and implement them into your life. Yeah, and we also just recommend that you're not waiting until the very last second. So if you're in your senior year, you it's much better if you're second year student, if you're getting involved now and not waiting until the last minute and realizing that maybe you're not as competitive as a candidate as you could have been. So this is another little map of how you can get started with SOP. So the first step is attending one of our workshops, which you're doing right now. So you're already completing step 1. And then you can also schedule an appointment with any of our advisors. So any of us who are here, we can advise you in our office, walk you through, our advising process, answer any questions you might have, or discuss scholarships that you particularly are interested in. We can also help you with your pre-application and completing SOP prep, which are 2 things that we will tell you about in the next couple slides. And then once you've narrowed down the scholarships that you're interested in and you complete your pre-application, you will get a primary advisor from our office, which is a professional staff who will help you with the process of completing all of your application components. So what is the SOP prep course? So this is something you can do right now. You can go onto our website and enroll in our Canvas course. So it is a not UCI affiliated Canvas course. So it doesn't give you any units and it won't affect your GPA or anything like that. It's just for our office. So you can go and enroll, and it is something you can enroll in without needing any permission. So you can start it, you can stop it. You don't need permission from us to start it or to withdraw. And yeah, again, it doesn't provide any academic units. So it's just a separate Canvas course. It won't affect anything with your transcript.
It's also at your own pace. So if you're a first year, you could start now and you have until possibly your junior, senior year to complete it, depending on what scholarship you want to apply for. Basically, you just want to keep or get prep done before the pre-application deadline for your specific scholarship. So that pre-app deadline is either going to be April 10th or in October of next year. And the title course sounds intimidating, but here's an overview of what it is. And once you break it down, it's really not that much. There's only like 3 written journal entries, and the rest of them are like schedule an appointment or take a virtual advisor quiz that will generate a list of scholarships that you're eligible for and you might be interested in. But yeah, student advisors will also give you feedback on every entry that you make. So we'll walk you through the whole process.
So we mentioned the pre-application a couple times. So the pre-application is what you would be completing after you finish the SOP prep Canvas course. So you'll finish that whole thing. And then if you've decided you actually do want to go forward with applying to a scholarship through our office, that's when you would go to our pre-application for the respective cycle that you're applying to. So if you were interested in any of the T10 that we've mentioned, you would be filling out this pre-application by April 10th at noon. The pre-app, it really just tells you, it tells our office that you are actually intending to apply. So it's sort of a commitment in a way of you saying that I want to apply for these certain scholarships that you're interested in and think that you're a good candidate for.
And it won't be viewed by any external scholarship committees.
Yeah, it's just for our office, so you don't need to stress about filling it out and making it like an application. It's just for us.
Okay, so now that we're reaching the end of the presentation, we're just going to talk about little things here and there just to wrap it up. So the first thing is Phi Beta Kappa. So we mentioned this briefly in the previous couple slides ago. And this is I think one of, if not the most prestigious honor societies in the US. Here are some notable people that have won this award before. So PBK is invitation only. So if you get an invitation in your email inbox, but from PBK, please go ahead and accept it. It's very, very prestigious. They select the, is it like
the top 1% of juniors and then the top 5% of seniors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so again, it's very, very prestigious, very, very exclusive almost, and this is not just like, you don't have to have this on your application to be selected for them, but it is a nice little decoration to have on your resume. But again, it's not required, but if you happen to get an invitation, please go ahead and accept it. So the next thing is SOP is hiring. So the two positions that we're hiring for right now is the student advisor position, which is what me, Jessica, and Aline are. Aline is the lead student advisor at SOP. And yeah, so job like what is the word I'm looking for? Description, yeah, sorry, would be something like doing outreach, like these workshops, meeting with students one-on-one and advising appointments. And sometimes you give feedback on their drafts as well, and then helping the professional primary advisors, which are who kind of help you out throughout your entire application process, help them out with whatever they need. It's a really good job. I love my job. So yeah. Just want to point that out. And then the other thing is a media intern. So if you're really, really good at graphic design or anything like that, a lot of our media interns use Canva. It's like a really big thing in our office. They are also having positions open as well. So if you're interested in applying, the applications are up. The links are on the bottom of the screen right there. And I believe, are they linked on our website?
They're on our website as well, and they're also on our link tree in our Instagram bio. Both of these positions will begin summer, I believe, this upcoming summer. But Karina and I are graduating, so if you're interested in the student advisor position, you'll be working with Jessica next year.
Yeah, and she's great. So just wrapping things up, here is kind of a really quick overview of everything that we could talk about today in terms of our office. Here is a little graphic of our entire team. And if you have any more questions, you can put it in the chat or ask us right now, or you can email us at scholars@uci.edu. And you can always visit the website to get more information about anything that catch your attention today. And you can also schedule an appointment with a student advisor. So it could be either me, Jessica, or Aline, or our other student advisor who's not here, Natalie, and visit our drop-in hours for any help that you want with your scholarship journey. So if anyone has any questions, you guys are more than you guys can ask us now. And then just as one final reminder, oh, well, we're already there. I thought it was like
Please, whether you're on Zoom or in person, check in by scanning the QR code so we can keep track of attendance and send you a follow-up email with important info. Yeah, so if you have questions, feel free to ask in person or drop it in the chat and we'd be happy to help you. We have 10 minutes left.
Yeah.
We can stop.
Okay.